Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to City Sewers. We are actually going to be working on our mushroom project today, even though we started that a couple weeks ago. But we ordered some granular spore, and it's actually going to be coming on Tuesday, which is super exciting. But now that means that we're in crunch time and we've got to get ready. Granted, once you have received your spore, you have like 3 months or something like that to use it. But I would really rather get it used and not have it sitting around and get forgotten about. So we are going to work on pulling out our rose bushes here that need to come out or transplant or whatever we're doing with them. And yeah, we're just gonna get it ready. We're gonna, the straw that I'm gonna put in there is not going to happen until I'm ready to put the spore down, because you're doing that lasagna style. You're gonna layer it in. But we are gonna get it all cleaned up, get the fencing up to keep the cats out, because you know, cats, they like to dig in things. And so we're just gonna have it ready. And that's kind of our main goal today. Also today, David is gonna pull out all the stakes from our grass project, because the fence is no longer up there and we want to have those out so that they're no longer just T-posts sticking up in the yard, making things look a little funky, and also for safety, because we do have kids running around and we don't want anybody getting hurt because they run into one. So David has an awesome technique on that. We can cut to that and show you that right now. All right, Nathan, give it a go. Oh yeah, good technique. Loosen it first.
Get some help from TJ.
Is it even moving?
Rub the goat for good luck. There you go. Here, I'll tell you what, let's tie this on and you guys can both pull on the handles.
All pull?
Sure. Whoever you think the two strongest of you are.
Nathan and me.
All right, here. One of you pull that, one of you pull that on 3.
I don't have.
Hang on, let's make sure Mommy can see.
Can you see,
Ready?
Mom?
Here, Caleb, right here. You ready?
Grab your handle. All right, 1, 2, 3.
Go, 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 go! Come on, pull hard!
No!
He's like, I'm helping!
Nathan, pull! You're the strongest! Seriously.
All right, let me get in there. Who wants to give me their loop? I'll see if I can try. All right, ready? Ready? 1, 2, 3. See? So, you know the term smarter, not harder. Let's try something a little smarter. All right, so we are going to take out these posts. I think I mentioned in one of our last videos, I didn't know the way to get these things out. We tried with brute force, muscle, etc., and that didn't work. I even had one of the kids try because they're strong, right? Well, anyway, these are in the ground. You know, they're 5-6 foot beams, and they're in the ground about 2 feet in. Really, really impossible to pull out by hand. So did some research. I wanted to share with you my findings. It's a loud chicken. She's gonna enjoy the show too. So how I'm gonna do this is I'm gonna use a tie from just a tie down truck tie.
Well, you do have a helper.
You can use rope. I got a helper there. What's up, man? How you doing? How you doing? And I'm gonna use a beam and fulcrum method of getting these out. And I'll show you how to do that. First, you're gonna take your tie. I have made a loop which matches my the width of one of these 8s, 2x8s, right? So this is going to be just enough to kind of hang below there. I'm gonna take the other end, and you see how these are notched. We're gonna take the tie. We're just gonna make a little knot right at the bottom. You can use pretty much any rope as long as it's strong enough. I use this because it has a 500-pound weight limit, so you're not gonna snap it, because you really don't want to snap whatever cord you're using. And then I'm gonna tie the other end around the beam. This is how it works. It really is handy to have a helper. So if I could have a helper, that'd be fantastic. All right, look out, goat. I know you're being super helpful.
You asked for a helper.
Hey, look, ask and you shall receive. So if you could hold that for me right there, so I can slip a beam into it. This is our fulcrum point, is the point that does not pivot, it stays stationary. So I'm gonna lay the beam out this way, and I'm gonna use the strong end, so sideways. It's gonna go in like this, and it's gonna be at an angle. And I'm gonna push down on this end, and it's gonna pry upwards on that T-post. Yes. Thank you, Hannah. Here you go. I'll hold that too.
Just don't squish.
Okay, so I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna slip it into my knot right here. As you can see down on this end, I've put some screws just to help it not slip off. Not super necessary, but otherwise you might deal with it slipping and sliding. Okay, now I'm gonna
back away. So
You're gonna back away? I'm gonna push down on this end of the pipe, of the beam. So beam fulcrum, here we go. And we just push, 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 and out it comes. I can't believe how easy that it works so easy. And traditionally, if you get some super long ones, what might happen is you get all the way down to where the beam is all the way at the ground, but the pipe's still not out or the T-post's still not out. So you just untie it, go down lower to the next notch, do the same thing. Easy as pie. I'm just blown away by how easy that was. Easy, right?
It looked easy from my point.
You want to try one?
No.
Well, you could try it at home. Anyway, we're trying to get these all out because we want the backyard to be backyard-ish.
And we have a basketball hoop right here.
Oh.
And we don't want the kids' basketball to get punctured and ruined.
Yeah! It really helps that I don't actually have to jump.
Manly. All right, let's move on.
I can eat some grapes as well.
Lovely.
Ready? All right, last one. You ready? 1, 2, 3, up. Here we go. It's hot today. It's like gotta be 102 degrees. And fortunately, we're still out here when it's only in the 90s. But it's hot, and so I'm gonna get some fruit. Now I have a special technique for eating these that Amanda won't let me share. But I'm gonna do it anyway.
So civilized. Please spray plum juice right now.
So, as ridiculous as that is, these plums are so stinking juicy. It's easier to just put the whole thing in your mouth. It looks ridiculous. Gets the job done.
And every time he does it, there is such glee in his eyes.
It reminds me of Elf when he's eating the cotton candy, or what he thinks is cotton candy,
cotton
the cotton
balls.
balls. What do you think, Audrey?
Good.
Look at that. I would not recommend you take Daddy's technique.
I would not shove it out. I can't even fit in mouth.
Yeah. Do it the civilized way. So the first thing I'm gonna do is take out this rose bush, and then we'll go from there. That one is diseased and dying, so we're just gonna take it completely out. And then we're gonna transplant the one in the back, and we are going to take out the one in the far back. It's a cabbage rose that Amanda's not wild about. So that's the plan for today. That's what I'm doing out here in the front yard. This thing is wicked.
Rest in peace, yellow rose, or rest in pieces anyway. I hacked it up getting ready for this so the goats enjoyed it. This thing has been just too delicate for too long. I'm ready to not fight it anymore.
We're gonna save this.
It's a little sunburnt right now, or not sunburnt, but the heat got to it a little bit and we had some water issues, so it's looking a little stressed. But you can see the newest blossom in here. But yeah, we are going to transplant this, and I'm really surprised at how little root development it grew. But I think part of that is just because it was in the shade and it struggled, so I think that once we get it in that really prime spot in the sun, it's going to take over and it's going to thrive. So, let's go, little rose.
All right, so the roses are out.
Just like that, huh? You even got the little one in the corner?
Oh, there's another one back there.
The one in the very corner is a cabbage rose that it's always been so spindly. As soon as it gets a blossom on it, it just falls over down on its face. For those of you who may be wondering what a cabbage rose is a rose that has very large blossoms with a lot of petals, like compacted into it. So they become very top heavy. And this one, I don't know, I'm personally not that huge of a cabbage rose fan anyway, so I'm not all that sad to see it go. It's only ever had like 2 spindly little sticks on it because the Japanese maple shaded it long ago, and so it's just struggled and struggled and struggled. So now we're gonna end its suffering.
Honey, I got you a bouquet of roses.
Thanks, babe.
Or cabbages.
Although, do you want to share our little history about roses?
Oh, sure. So, we both love roses. But what, I don't know, what was it, our 5th anniversary?
It was when we were still
Second
dating.
anniversary of dating? Yeah, something like that. Anyway, I wanted to get Amanda some roses, but I hate the idea of cut flowers for whatever reason. I think they're overpriced in stores, and yeah, it's romantic or whatever.
They have no fragrance. They'll die in a couple days.
House roses or flowers, just, I mean, they're pretty for a moment and then they're dead. And I guess more being in the romantic, thinking more symbolically, I decided to get her, basically I went to her house and I filled her room full of plants, rose plants.
Favorite roses.
And yeah, all different colors of roses, and I said, this is what each color and type represents. And anyway, I did not get her this one.
Most of those are planted at my mom's house because I was still
right,
living there.
she was still at home.
I was a teenager.
Her mom thought it was quite awesome. She really got the good end of that.
Yeah. So some of them are still there.
Yeah, but still alive. Much like our love, honey.
Yes.
You know, so we got that going for us.
Our love is eternal.
Yes, or until they die of rot. All right, so this pile of dirt here, right behind Audrey, we brought this out in a previous video. We'll tag it up here in a little card. But that came from our backyard. What we're gonna do is we're gonna spread this out in this whole area. So from about where you're looking all the way to the edge, we are gonna fence it in. That's our project today. We're gonna spread this dirt out. We went out to our good friend Karen's house. She has horses and she has given us just a truckload of manure, which is gonna be a very key point, key growing medium for these mushrooms. We have 3 different types, and between straw and that manure, that's gonna be the basis of the mushroom garden. The goal today is to get this dirt all cleared, spread out evenly, and then lay down the manure and get the fence up. So we're gonna get right going on that right now. You ready?
Yep.
All right, let's do this.
Let's go.
So you guys wanna hear a mushroom joke? So a mushroom walks into a bar. Of course he was ordering milk because that's all that mushroom should order at a bar. So walks up to the bartender and says, "I'd like a glass of ice cold milk." And the bartender says, "We don't serve mushrooms here." And the mushroom looks at him and goes, "Why? I'm a fun guy."
Wow.
Yeah, that just happened.
That just happened. This is a truckload of poop. This is a bunch of dry horse manure that has been sitting out on our friend's property for a long time. She hasn't like managed it as a compost pile, but it's been out there so long that it pretty much is composted. And what we're planning to do is grow our mushrooms in it. Any extra that we have, I'm gonna just keep and use in my garden for amending or side dressing or anything like that. And we can actually plan on going to her probably long term now for a lot of our manure needs. Thank you, Karen, so much. We really appreciate this. This was a huge boon, especially because right now we are unable at all to find composted steer manure in the stores. I have been hunting for weeks and cannot get any. All the hardware stores that carried it before don't have it in stock. I'm not sure if that is a COVID related thing or riot related thing, or who knows why it's not being carried in stores right now. You can get chicken manure, but you can't get steer manure, and I feel that chicken manure is just, first of all, it's more expensive. It costs twice as much as the steer manure, and it's more nitrogen hot and it smells more, and I would rather go with the horse manure, which, while it does have its own odor, it's far better than the smell of chicken manure. So we're gonna go with the horse manure, and hopefully it's gonna have some really good success for us in the long term.
Hey Audrey, can you grab a piece of that? One of those road apples, so we can see it up close.
Road apples?
Yeah, just grab a piece. Hey, guess what? You're holding poop.
Let's see, it's
She doesn't care.
It's
She's
all
like, there's so much
hard.
poop in my life.
It's dry. Now, horses in particular are inefficient animals when it comes to breaking down plant matter. So you'll see a lot more like intact blades of grass or strands of hay in their poop because they are not ruminant animals. And ruminants are the ones that have the four-chambered stomachs, the cows, the goats, the sheep, you know, most other grazing animals have the four-chambered stomach, and they're chewing the cud and re-chewing it, and they're really processing as much of that as possible and fermenting it. Horses, they don't have that, but they do have what's called a cecum, which is similar to the rumen in a cow, but instead of it being in the beginning of their digestive process, it's at the end. It's right in their large intestine. So they're only really fermenting and processing this right before it's on their way out. So it's not really getting that breakdown, that thorough decomposition that you get with cows and sheep and goats and so on. So I'm really curious to find out what kind of difference it makes just as a compost, having that difference in the breakdown of the plant matter. So I'm wondering, is it going to be higher in nitrogen because it's got more of the alfalfa or whatever the horse was eating, the higher protein plants that were in it? I'm just very curious to see how it's going to work out long run. So let's get started.
I have a question for you, Amanda.
Yes.
Did you know you're a nerd?
Yeah, I am the urban nerd with a goat herd.
This
So.
is true.
So Caleb, you were just talking to our neighbor. What were you telling her?
That if you would take one scoop of one ant pile and put it onto the other ant pile, and then you scoop the other pile that you just put the pile on, and then you dump it into the one that you just scooped, and then ants would do a war against each other.
Very good. So what Caleb just described is a solution or a method for dealing with ant infestations. Now, the property that we just got this whole truckload of poop from, they actually have had problems with ants. They were talking about they have ant hills everywhere full of red ants, and they've been using diatomaceous earth to control them, but it only gets you so far, because if you've got that many of them, it's really hard to take out the entire colony. So a tip that I have heard, I have not had to have any experience with it myself just because of our setting. We don't really see a lot of ant hills, but what you can do is that you can take a scoop from one ant hill and just put it on top of another ant hill, and take a scoop from that ant hill and put it on the other one, just like Caleb was saying, and you have members from two separate colonies that will start a war in each anthill, and they can end up taking each other out, which can be a really big boon for someone who's really struggling with ants and doesn't know how to take care of them without having to put poison down on their property. So that's a really good solution that I have heard people have incredible success with. Give it a try if you have ant problems, and let us know how it goes, because like I said, we don't really have a lot of ant hills that pop up around here. Like, we'll occasionally see an ant trail, but you're not gonna find the ant hill. It's just an urban setting like this makes it really hard. But if you can find more than one ant hill, please give it a try. I want to know if it works. Hey, big tough guy. So, the ground where we were driving these stakes is super compact because we have drips in here to the plants
Yes.
rather than sprayers that moisten everything. So he's been driving these things into hard,
It's like
dry,
concrete, dry
packed
dirt. My
dirt.
hands are just torn to pieces.
Oh,
I ripped
honey.
up that one real good. And I was using gloves. I was even going safety first without the goggles, but yeah, that's a different story. And then this one, it's like, if I were to have to drive one more, it would be done. Like, these would be all torn open. So I had some Band-Aids on. They were, I guess, efficient. Stopping blood and stuff. But whatever. The posts are in. The next step will be to get the water situation squared away and get this manure all dampened and ready to be inoculated. We are expecting the grain spores to come in on Tuesday. So I anticipate when we are, rather than put the spores and get it all inoculated with the fencing up, we'll probably inoculate and get the hay situated and then put the fencing up right after the grain spores. We'll just kind of do that as a knockout. Shouldn't take long. We have kind of a plan of what we're doing as far as opening up individual gated sections for each one of these 4 areas in this garden. We have a total of, I think, 14 feet-ish, 13.5 feet. So each one of these sections is about 40 inches wide, and we're gonna have a different type of mushroom in 4 different sections. Eventually we have one more area in the back we're gonna try to grow some portobellas in, so that'll be fun. Karen, thank you so much for the use of your poop. That's a weird statement, but I mean it from the bottom of my heart. No, tell TK thank you. That's her horse's name. Beautiful, beautiful horse. And the little baby miniature horse, so cute. We're gonna enjoy it and we'll be bringing you some mushrooms. I really encourage everyone else, see what kind of mushrooms can grow in your climate. This is not a complicated process, and we will share each step with you as we go. The reason it's a little more complicated for us is because we don't want cats in our area, so that's why we're fencing it off. And so almost all the prep so far, aside from actually laying the growing medium, has been just fencing it so we don't deal with the cats. And so anyway, we're ready to go and actually get those spores in the ground. When those come in and we start laying them out, we'll let you know where we got them from, and then keep you posted as to whether they were the best ones you could have got or if there's other options out there. I know there are tons of options as far as that goes. But anyway, I'm gonna go rest my hands now.
Yeah.
After I unload the rest of the truck.
Oh, honey. Some of you guys may be wondering, we've only got 13.5 by what, like 3 feet? Why are we not growing a single variety across that whole space? I'm just gonna put it plain and simple. I like variety. I would rather have smaller amounts of a variety of things rather than a whole lot of one thing. That's just mostly because of the setting I'm in. If I had more space, of course I would probably try to grow more of things. But
See what works.
in my gardening experience, I want to do, all right, let's try 4 or 5 different kinds of mushrooms and see what sticks, and you know, that kind of thing. And the eggplants, I grew 2 different kinds and see what sticks. Tomatoes, I only grow 1 plant of each variety because I want to know what we like before I really commit to growing a lot of any given thing. So that's why we're doing small sections of each variety. And we can honestly pile each section higher to use that spore, and it'll still provide us with plenty of mushrooms. Now, I don't know that we're going to get any flushes of mushrooms anytime soon, just because the temperatures are still so high, because they do still want to be cooler. Like, the varieties that we chose are more heat tolerant, but they still don't really want to be over 85. We got umbrellas out here because it's hot. Poor David is in the
Not
sun.
in the umbrella. Hey, look.
Hey.
Oh, I could love you. Oh.
There you go.
I'm all sweaty. You don't want me to hug you.
Thank you. Ew. Thank you so much for joining us today as we make some more progress on our mushroom project and getting the stakes out of the yard. That was awesome. Like, David's a beast.
Yes, yes,
Beast
he is.
man.
Who can juggle poop?
That's disgusting.
But the question is, can you juggle people?
Hey, look, I got poop on a white shirt.
That's a load of horse.
That's horse poop.
Anyway, as always, this is your urban nerd
With a horse turd.
so that you can grow where you're planted.
Wait. What can we grow?
Mushrooms!
We can
We
grow
can
mushrooms
grow mushrooms
in
where
the front
we're
yard
planted.
with a horse turd.
So I guess it's really, you can grow where you're inoculated if you're growing mushrooms.
Yeah, but you know, you can grow where you're planted.